Hi, this is Hugh Lobel, creator of the music and sound design platform, and today I'm sharing the first video in a new tutorial series aimed at guiding you through the use of MusicSTP's source code. This video series assumes that you already have Macs installed and updated to the most recent version, and that you already have some amount of experience working in Macs. This first video will walk you through getting started with the code. You may notice that unlike the first tutorial series, I'm recording this video on my PC instead of my Mac. I decided to do this just to give Windows users a little love, and to show that we've been taking steps to clean up the PC build and make it more unified with the Mac version. Mac functions almost identically on both operating systems, so virtually everything that I discuss on the PC will be the same on OS X. The first step to setting things up, of course, is to download the source code from musicstp.com. Go to the Downloads page and click the Download Source Code button. This will bring you directly to the correct part of the page, and you can click the Max icon to start your download. Once the download is complete, simply decompress the zipped file and place the folder wherever you'd like it to be on your computer. Now, before we begin in earnest, we'll need to follow two additional steps. The first step is installing the fonts that MusicSTP uses. These are open source fonts provided by Google and are found in the Fonts folder immediately inside the main MusicSTP folder. Installing fonts on Windows and OS X is pretty easy, and you can find instructions for both all over the internet. The second step is to make sure that you have the appropriate version of Java installed on your computer, since MusicSTP takes advantage of the MaxJava or MXJ object. If you don't have the appropriate version installed, MSTP will fail to open, but a Max window will pop up that will provide you with a link to the Java website where the software can be downloaded and installed. Once Java and the Google fonts have been installed on your computer, you're ready to open MusicSTP. The process of launching MSTP is only slightly different with the source code when compared to the application. Double-clicking the _music_stp.maxpat file will launch Max and open a small window that informs you that the program is loading. This tiny patcher is actually adding all of MusicSTP's folders to the Max search path. It's very important to note that this patch must be launched before you dive into any part of MusicSTP's source code, as without this, the many abstractions, polytilde, and bpatcher files that MSTP relies on will not be found, and the system will effectively be broken. Even if you only want to look at a single process in the system or a single module, you still want to launch the musicstp.maxpat file first. As an interesting aside, since subfolders are automatically added to the app version's search path, this step is skipped when loading the application. After the search paths have been loaded, the system board is opened, and the launcher window is closed. The system board actually opens before the project loader, but it defaults to a window size of 0 by 0 pixels so that it appears to not be opened yet. I haven't actually found a way to get this to work perfectly on the application yet, so if anyone has a solution they'd like to share, please message me or send me an email. Alright, at this point we're looking at the first screen that application users get to see, the project loader. Right away you may notice that many of our familiar Max tools are hidden or unavailable. You might also see that it's impossible to close or resize the window, and if you try your keyboard shortcuts, you'll find most have been disabled. The end goal with MusicSTP is always the application builds, and all of these restrictions have been added to ensure that the application user gets the exact experience that we want them to have. This requires tucking away the toolbars to make sure that the window size will be what we expect it to be, adding a custom menu bar which has the side effect of removing those keyboard shortcuts, and locking the window size so that users only ever see the interface that's been designed for them to interact with. None of these decisions were done to deter Max users from diving into the code, and we've actually implemented a few shortcuts to get these features back into your hands quickly. So the first thing you'll want to do is bring back the original Max menus. This will return your use of the keyboard shortcuts so that you can easily unlock patches and switch between presentation and edit modes. To do this, go to the File menu and find Max Menus. Clicking this brings back the original menus. The next step is to unstick the window. Right now the window is stuck at its current size. We can't full screen, minimize, or close the window, nor can we scroll left or right. We can only reposition the window on the screen. This can actually be fixed quickly after switching from presentation to edit view. Without the toolbar, this needs to be done via the menu bar, or by hitting Ctrl-Alt-E on Windows, or Command-Alt-E on OS X. As soon as you've switched to Edit View, you should see a big button with the text Unstick. Simply click this button to restore the missing functions. Now we can full screen the window and scroll around, allowing us to explore the code to our heart's content. The project loader screen is not one of the most exciting parts of the system, but it's worth looking at if you want to know how we've been able to create and copy folders and files. This is a function which is sadly lacking from Max's built-in object library, so it was a very exciting day for me when I discovered the FileSys Java class that had been created at the Centre Henri Poussier. This opened up a whole new realm of possibilities for the system and helped bring my vision to life of having a folder structure for Music SDP projects. This Java class is also how we check to see if a project has been moved, and how we copy files over to the audio files folder in the Audio Manager. As far as I know, this isn't a very well-known Java class, but it deserves a huge amount of attention and praise for the possibilities it adds to Max-built applications. If you want to grab a copy of the code, you can take the files from the Music SDP folders, but I'd recommend you go to their website, which I've linked to in this video's description. The actual website has some additional tools and abstractions that you might find useful for your projects. So let's move forward. Once a project has been selected, the project loader window will close and the system board will pop open. Since we've already brought back our Max menus, we can quickly switch out of presentation view again and find the system board unstick button, which has been positioned at the top left corner of the screen. Like before, pressing this button allows us to freely explore the patch, and we can see that this one is pretty big. I find it challenging to keep things super organized with so much going on, but I've compartmentalized each of the functions of the system board with panels to make it easier to find what you're looking for. Below the panels, you'll find the B patchers containing the full view contents, and unlocking the patch will reveal the hidden B patchers as well. Let's look at how to explore the pedal, saved, and loaded boards. The pedal board is easily opened by clicking New Board on the system board. The pedal boards, unlike most other parts of the system, don't open in presentation view. I found it easier to position and size B patchers properly, automatically, in Edit View. So hey, one less step to making changes, right? In order to unstick the pedal board, we need to unlock it. This will reveal the Unstick button, which is hidden on lock. We also need to delete any B patchers in view. Be careful not to delete the Save button. Once the B patchers are gone, hit Unstick to regain control of the patch. Now, since these boards are in edit mode already, all of the code for the patch has been hidden to the left of the workspace. So once the patch is unlocked, you'll have to scroll left to see the patch contents. I'm going to apologize here for how sloppy this code is. It was created long before I planned on sharing the code or really cared very much about having easy-to-read patches. And although it's been revised many times, I've never gone through and properly cleaned things up. But, it's not terrible either, and if you're observant, you should be able to trace my steps. The good news is that the other two boards are significantly newer and are easier to follow. The loaded board and saved boards are identical, except for how they open. The loaded board was created to launch boards on open, and boards where the name is fed into the patch, as can be done from the system board's menu. The saved board, on the other hand, creates an open dialog window so that you can find a saved board on your computer. Other than that detail, these two patches are identical. You can open a blank version by clicking Load Board File on the System Board GUI, then hitting Cancel when the open dialog window pops up. This unsticks the same way that the pedal board does, so simply unlock the patch, hit Unstick, then scroll to the left to find the hidden code. When working with the pedal, loaded, and saved boards, it's important to delete all B patchers before you save and load the file. If you don't, the B patchers will be deleted upon reopening the patch, but if you've had a large set of modules saved, it'll slow down the open process. You can make your own life easier and just clean up after yourself before hitting save. So that should give you enough information to start diving into the code, but for the last part of this video, I'm going to walk you through the file structure so that you can see how and where everything is stored. Opening the main Music SDP folder, let's look at what we see from top to bottom. First is the musicSDP.maxpat system launcher, which is used to open Music SDP. The changelog is a detailed record of all the changes that have been made to the system since launch. The fonts folder contains the Google fonts. The license files contain the copy of the GNU license. The The bulk of the system's content can be found in the System Files folder. The Board Files folder contains the system board, the various manifestations of the pedal board, and the main patches and subpatches used by these systems. This folder includes the files that are used when generating new modules on the pedal boards, and the files displayed in the Full View tab. The Buffers folder contains all of the waveforms that are available in the system's synthesizers. These waveforms have been selected from a larger library distributed for free by Christoph Ekstrand. His full collection is massive and is a must-have for anyone who's interested in synth building. You can find a link to his site in the video description where you can download the entire collection for use. The Collections folder is actually on its way out, and the content inside can be considered deprecated code. These collections are used to populate the scores, but revisions to the use of the score systems will likely make the folder unnecessary in the future. For now, it's staying in case I decide to use it after all. The Controllers folder contains the virtual controller patches and the core for the pitch tracking code. Now, pitch tracking hasn't been fully finished in the system yet, as I need to develop an intuitive interface for it and a fleshed-out communication method that will make it useful in the system. But a good part of the work has been done for a while now, and it's only a matter of time before I go back and finish this. It's worth noting that the code is actually usable, and it only lacks the features needed to make it easy to use in the application. The Default Presets folder is a collection of JSON files that have been created for the MSDP module's presets. These haven't been completed yet, but most have been made, and are worth exploring if you're interested in how the preset objects store their data. The Effects folder contains all of the main module patches for the system. You can see that the folders are organized by module type. For ease of use, any patch that is included in these folders will be automatically added to the pedal board module list. This means that adding your custom-made modules is as easy as dropping them into the third-party folder or any other folder besides Legacy Effects. Legacy Effects includes patches that are interesting but have been excluded from the actual release list for one reason or another. Also notice that the blank template file can be found here. This file contains all of the necessary code to convert an effect into an MSDP module, as well as instructions on how to use the template. This will be covered actually in much greater detail in the next video. The Externals folder is a small one, and we're hoping to keep it that way. Our plan is to avoid externals at all cost, but we're keeping the option open, and this is the folders where externals will be kept. You can see that the only files in here are the fiddle files made by Miller S. Puckett for live pitch detection. This is used in conjunction with Max's pitch detection object to create the custom pitch tracking solution used in Music SDP. The Images folder contains all of the image files used throughout the system. This folder includes some old versions of the images that aren't used or were works in progress. This will probably be cleaned up in the future since this folder takes up a decent chunk of disk space. The Includes folder contains all of the abstractions, gin, polytilde, and Java class files needed for modules and system processes to work. A lot of important code is stored here, including the 6 custom-made Music SDP dials. The final folder, Saved Projects, is where the system keeps track of the project locations on your computer. Files are added when projects are made, and deleted when projects can no longer be found. Alright, so that completes our introduction to using the Music SDP source code. We've got more videos planned for this tutorial series, and we hope to cover some big concepts. The next video in this series will be a complete introduction to making your own module using the blank template. Until next time, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider signing up for our newsletter if you want to keep up with our project. There we'll give you news about updates, things that are going on with the developers, and we'll let you know when new videos like this are added to our YouTube channel. Finally, please consider donating to our project. Everyone who develops Music SDP does it on the side of several jobs, and for some of us, schoolwork. Any donations that come in help to establish and build Music SDP and go to paying the contributors for their time and effort. Thanks for watching. We really hope you enjoy playing with and using the music and sound design platform.